speaking of Kane, with things get a little easier toward the end of the album, co-written
Yes.
or written by Kane, co-written by Kane. So since
Ghost written. That's a ghost write.
so leads me to a few questions. So since going off, he had written, a few records from there. Why did you guys not have him collaborate more on the writing side?
At that time, Kane and Biz were going in opposite directions. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't, Kane was blowing up. Like Kane was gone. Like gone. Like 89, Kane was gone. That long-lived Kane sparked the fuse, but that Big Daddy thing, whew, gone. You know what I'm saying? And what happened was, me, Swan, and Biz were like a crew outside of the Juice Crew. You know what I'm saying? We were a crew before we ever got in the Juice Crew, but we're not really technically a crew because we end up different kinds of ways. Like, it could be me, Biz, and Kane, me, Biz, and Swan, Swan, Biz, and Kane at a show because Biz has the record, right? And, before the record too, before Make the Music, we was doing shows, but Kane is so gone right now. He's DJing and touring with Roxanne Shante. His album drops. He's gone. Biz and Kane was moving in different directions. But Kane is the one person that understands when Biz got a style and he want to go that style, Kane can finish off the idea. And we didn't have Kane there for that. You know what I'm saying? So when I finally talked to him, I said, yo, I got something for you. He said, what you got? I said, I got something for you. He said, you got something for me? I said, yes, I got something for you. I said, but I need you. He said, what you need? I said, I need some words. Now, the funny story is, I gave Kane the beat. He said, oh, yeah. I said, I told you it was going to like it, right? So he wrote the record. I told him what to write about. Biz told me what, he wanted to write. I gave it to Kane. Kane wrote the record. And we traded. So Kane doesn't get writers on that. I don't get producers on Warming Up Kane. So things get a little easier. I'm producing that. That's on the album. I need that because that's one of the last records that we recorded. But I wanted stories on the album so that it could hit different markets. You can't hit every market going off the head. So that's actually one of the first records I recorded for that album and one of the last records Biz did words for that album. Okay. That's one of the first records I laid at Data Bank. Oh. So, yeah. So that's a whole long process. And Kane gave me them words. Biz liked it, knocked it out. And we got some kids from the shelter in the city. Big thanks to Pat Thompson. That used to work with Bert Padell. That was our accountant. And she went and found the kids, and the kids came and did the hook. That's where you hear the things get a little easier once you learn to understand. Yeah. 45 King gave me the horns.
Well, you also said that was like one of your most special moments making a song.
Yeah, because it came together. Like, think about it. I start the album with that song and the shout out song. These are the two first records I lay on tape in Data Bank Studios. So I lay those records. And this record right here becomes this. Things get a little easier. Now we got the kids at the studio. They getting inspired. They're on a record. We about to finish the album. The album is almost finished because that was after Paul C died, and I'm at the studio with Doc. So the two records that we finished was Killer Force and Things Get a Little Easier. Killer Force Connection. So those records, it meant a lot, man. We done. We finished, man. We done.
Well, the Biz in Harmony, right? With Killer Force.
Yeah, Biz in Harmony. Yeah. We're called.
Yeah. But with...
that's a routine that originated in Jersey City with the Killer Force crew.
Right. And yeah. I think that record reminds me of something that I think about a lot, too. I always think it's so ironic at the time when it was happening, when people were getting mad about the R&B or people singing on rap records. I'm like, people have been harmonizing since before there were rap records. The best rappers were harmonizing. Like, why are you upset with this?
Everybody has their own opinion. And when you get this social media and all of these people talking, even back then, people had opinions, but it didn't matter because when you get down to the bottom of it, it's music. So what are you trying to make us do? Like, if we're making music, it's to touch whoever it touches. Right. It's not just for you. But people get caught up in saying, yo, you're selling out, you're doing this, you're doing that. No, we're making music. If you're making music that you don't like yourself, then you're selling out. Being honest with you, but we like the shit that we do, whether nobody like it anyway. Like, we ain't the kind that's in the studio like this, and then when people hear, be like, nah, the label made me make that. That's whack. You know what I mean? Like, the label made me make that. No, we battled with labels about records that we really wanted to make, like Just a Friend, and look what it did.
Right. It clearly worked.
Yes.
So one thing that shocked me about reading DJ Kool V Never Sleeps, though, was that you never got a royalty check.
Never.
So how does that possible? Like, what happened?
Bert Padell. And listen, and I'm going to take some credit to it too. I'm not doing my due diligence about my business. And that's what I tell all the young artists to do. Make sure your business is correct, because now I'm sitting here talking about things and people are making money off music that I made, and I have never made money off the music. That's why I got the books. So now I can make money off of talking about my music that I made. And we sample music. We give everybody the credit that we sample. Even when we got sued, it wasn't because the people didn't know we were making the record. It was the record label that put the record out prematurely before the business got done. So you can't always put your business in anyone's hands. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I put my business in people's hands. I trusted Biz. I trusted Bert Padell. I trusted Cold Chillin'. I trusted a lot of people. Nobody did me right when it came to that. You know what I'm saying? Only person I could go to is Biz. You know, I could go to Biz and get something. I can't go to Warner Brothers. I can't go to Bert Padell. I can't go to Cold Chillin'. You know, when I left Bert Padell, after I found out that I couldn't sign my own checks and I didn't have a bank account at the bank, that it's one big account. So everybody's money is accounted for, but you don't have control over your money.
Right.
So I made a lot of money and I had tax statements that saying I made this much money, but I never had it. So that's how I beat my tax case. I said, tell me, show me where I withdrew the money. Because I know it ain't no bank account with my name on it, but you got a tax statement saying I've been paid a certain amount of money. What bank it went to? How? Show me where I withdrew it.
Show me the check.
Show me the check that I withdrew the money.
Right.
That's how I beat my shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's crazy when you go on with the IRS. They don't want to hear that because everybody say they don't owe.
Of course.
But I'm a young black kid in America that's got one of the hottest records in the country, maybe the world, maybe. And I'm not getting paid. So we go from one problem to the next.
That's crazy.
So I can't blame everybody without blaming myself too.
Right. Well, that's the challenge of life. And then, of course, obviously, as it pertains to your work in the music business, is like you can do something so remarkable and astonishing and then not get not only the acknowledgement, but then not get paid for it.
I wouldn't care about the acknowledgement if I would got the money.
Yeah.
See, now, let's get that clear, because there's been a lot of things that I got paid for that you ain't never heard come out my mouth. You know what I'm saying? And not in that Cold Chillin' situation. Cold Chillin', I have no great stories about the business at Cold Chillin' because there is no great business at Cold Chillin'. For me.
Right.
Not at all. Now, stories about making music, we didn't make the records at the record company.
Right.
You know what I mean? Listen, I can't, people mad but now because I'm telling that these stories are 30 years old, over 30 years old, right? Government papers get released after 30 years. You know the truth now. You know what I'm saying? I've never said anything, but I put it out in my book because that's the only way that I'm going to get paid for my work. So I got to work twice as hard. I got to give you the album, then I got to give you the book.
That's great.
Think about it. I put the most time in the studio for that album, more than anybody. And Biz will tell you that. Made sure everything got done. Did it with everybody that I did it with. Big shout to everybody that worked on the album with me. And I don't forget people. And I'm not trying to steal credits. But I did my own work. I never got the money. Yeah. So, yeah. And then the next album, we get sued. And that's a whole nother story. So at the end of the day, my recording career, I just stepped away from it, man. Like after a while, you know, and me and Kane worked all the time. You know, I do records for Kane or whatever, but I wasn't really trying to do too many. After that, we came back and did the All Samples Cleared. I didn't turn in the 5th album. I still have it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they didn't give me no. I said, I'm not giving this album in until I get my money. And that's why they don't have it. Fly Ty will tell you he paid Biz for it. I said, you paid Biz for it. Did you get it?
There we go. Back to the receipts.
There we go. I got receipts. You see the track sheets in the book. You see it.
Well, that was something else I thought was interesting too, with the evolution of music. How, and I obviously not as much as you, but I've been in the studio quite a few times and seeing all the different. I thought it was awesome just how you had the papers in there showing like on this track is the vocals, this track is the snare, this track is this. I just thought that was really great. And which leads me to somebody else you mentioned, but we didn't really talk about, and was DJ D.O.C. So I wanted you to break down going from Paul C to DJ D.O.C, what was different about them and what makes them both, especially DJ D.O.C, so special and so great.
Well, they both great in their own right. You know what I'm saying? Two totally different styles. So Paul C was more of the style that we came up with. 1200, you know, funky loops, might drop some shit on an offbeat in the pocket. You know, D.O.C, very precise engineer, doesn't like to use the 1200. Let's get that straight. So I had to change my whole production style so we could speed up the process when I went and messed with D.O.C. Yeah, everything that I had to do in the 1200, I did myself, basically. You know, D.O.C would do some things for me sometimes, but that was rare because we used a Publison sampler and D.O.C like the MPC 60 and all of that shit. You know, I don't fuck with the 60 like that. So, but I have a Renaissance now. So, you know, but the 1200 was my bread and butter. That's what I did. That's what I came up on. I got the 808. I got the 1200. I got the sync box. I got all of these things. That's how I work. And I work quick. You know, quick. So D.O.C also works quick, but he works quick his own way. So when we came to Power Play, we already had new D.O.C from KRS-One. So boom, we come to Power Play. I book an 8-hour session. I come in there, tell him what I want to do. I start laying tracks. He was like, yo, we got to do this because, you know, I'm like, yeah, because I was bringing 2 crates of records to the studio every day. So I'm bringing crates and pulling shit. And like, yo, we got a sample. They got the 1200 right. He said, yo, man, you be using that, man. We can just take that loop. You don't got to break it up, man. We got to do the Publi song. We can put the whole thing, stretch it out. I was like, word, fuck it. You know what I mean? And that's how we got the D.O.C thing. So D.O.C worked on a click. Everything's locked in. Bing, 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 bing. So that worked out for us. You know what I'm saying? D.O.C's input on the EQ really made a lot of ideas come together.
Well, speaking of input too, since you talk about him a lot in the book, DJ Cool V Never Sleeps, I wanted you to also explain how the 45 King influenced you and helped you as a producer beyond telling you were a producer, how he shaped the actual, what you did.
Lead by example. You go to 45 King house. I don't care what year, what day, what month, you're going to be inspired because he's going to pull out a beat that's going to make you go, God. And he has never let me down. Every time I've ever been to his house, and I go over there, not since the COVID, you know what I mean? Because we talk on the phone all the time. But listen, when I go there, he said, yo, V, he called me up right now. Yo, I want you to hear something. And I'd be like, motherfucker, that shit. The last beat he let me hear, I said, yo, we got the beautifulness. I said, is that a word? He said, you just made it a word. And that's my brother for years and years and years, a good friend of mine, man, great person. People don't nearly know how much impact he has had on this genre of music, because we done made it a genre now. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the 45 Kings impact and the catalog and the ideas and people, you know, the style. That's just the style of the funky way he dropped that shit in there. You don't understand. That's where, you know, like put it, I got my own ways of thinking about funky. You know, I know what funky is. So even if I get inspired by a Mark track, I'm not trying to do it the way 45 King do it. I'm trying to do it the way Cool V do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Oh shit, I heard that over there. This is gonna make me do this here. It's very, very inspirational brother right there, man. People don't even understand. I'm just telling you, you know, from even on Kane's album, people don't know 45 King had nothing to do with Kane's Long Live the Kane, but Set It Off started at 45 King's house. Kane didn't even know I had nothing to do with that because I was with 45 King and I heard it. He was doing it as a mix for, you know, for the radio. He was just going to hand it to the radio just so Red Alert could have a special mix on, what's that shit? Bass, how low can you go? Public Enemy. That beat was originally supposed to go under the air. Oh, and I said, no. He said, what? I said, no, I'm giving that shit to Kane. He said, Kane like that? Yeah. Yep. I calls Biz, and that's where the story goes haywire.
Well, there it is. All right. Well, man, yeah. Cool V, we really appreciate you coming through the Unique Access. I'm looking forward to you coming back. We got a lot more to talk about.
Yes.
It's an honor and a privilege, man. Thank you.
Hey, I want everybody out there to go to djcoolv.com and check out, you know, the symphony. DJ Cool V Never Sleeps, you know, and the Hip Hop Hands Foundation, you know what I mean? Because we preserve hip hop, you know, and we research it. You know, Lucio Dutch is my partner, and he's the one that made me realize that I was worth something in this business, because I had lost all the hope for even doing anything, you know, to deal with that old stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I'm writing these books and all that, telling them stories. That's his idea. You know, I'm just glad I'm here, man. Hey.
Be sure to check out The History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The History of Gangster Rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The History of Gangster Rap in stores now.